The process of growing an onion really starts in the summer before, like the crop now that we have now here in May, really got started last summer. We planted our onion seed beds in September of last year. And so we grew our onions on seed beds, high population, high density seed beds until they got about the diameter of a pencil or about as big around as your pinky finger. And then that's when the onions are transplanted once they get to that size. And that's usually in November and December. So they're transplanted into the fields or they're harvested then, and then they're grown all throughout the winter. And then they're ready for harvest in April and May.
Now that transplanting that takes place in December takes those little onion slips that have grown from the seeds, and those are set out, hundreds and hundreds of millions of them, by hand, each one individually.
That's correct, that's correct. And just to give you maybe a better understanding, so 1 acre of transplanted onions is anywhere from 85 to 95,000 onions in just 1 acre. And each one of those 90,000 onions in that acre is hand planted, and it's also hand harvested and hand clipped.
So when that gets on somebody's plate, that has been under control by other people, literally from the time it went to the ground.
We take a lot of care and a lot of pride into our crop, and so we think that's also part of what makes it so special and so unique.
You've got, what, about 10 acres? And there's a lot of onions here, but there's a lot of other stuff here too.
That's right. We're standing in about a 10-acre field of onions right here. And this is where we do all of our onion tests this year. And 10 acres may or may not sound like a lot, but this 10 acres has hundreds of different test plots in it where we look at hundreds, where we look at all aspects of Vidalia onion production, anything from flavor to how well the onions yield to pest management, anything you can think of.
How much water they use to how much fertilizer. You're trying to get the maximum efficiency out of an onion.
Right, nutrient management, water management, those are all things we look at and study here.